viewers, welcome to session on Grasp. This is Sudeep Samanjay, and I'm a once upon of a time undergraduate student from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. So today on our platform we have Nikhil Pradeep. So speaking about Nikhil Pradeep is my junior and is a student in IISc Bangalore who is studying biology major and not just with the bio major, but he has also been involved actively in sketching, guitar, and close-up magic. Does the magic word rings a bell? Yes, it does, because in case of study, he has already pulled a magic with his own recipe of strategies to bag an All India rank 72 and his success. So let's explore what's in store from Nikhil Pradeep. Hello, Nikhil.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm really good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I
How
just
has
returned from
ISC
the.
been treating you?
Treating pretty good. I just returned from the lab, so my experiment is running, and I'm hoping to get a paper published soon.
Oh, that's a great news. That's a great news. At least at the undergrad level, if you're doing that, that's really great. We all had
Yeah,
that
thank you.
dream once, and for most of us, it just goes on as a dream until
Yeah.
and unless we get ourselves into our final year project. But it's fantastic that you are getting something like this. Kudos. And so, how has it been so far? And like,
So it all depends on the professor that you choose. So I was very happy and very glad to have chosen such dedicated professors who would actually listen to our problems and then give us, a straight away answer and point us towards a future. It really helps.
yeah, that's one thing which ISC professors have been really good at.
Yeah.
We all have our professors who literally guide us into the right path, and hopefully you end up in
Yeah.
getting what you're looking for.
Yeah,
So,
hopefully, yeah.
anyways, Nikhil, the thing is, the KVPY exam is around the corner. Okay, on 9th January, all the students
Okay.
are gonna go and find themselves in the center of the exam hall.
So
So
now two
definitely,
weeks
I guess
left.
it's the right time, huh?
So now 2 weeks left.
Yeah, just precisely 2 weeks left.
Okay.
So this is where the hardest part of the toil is.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
The building
So
up of pressure.
yes, yes, yes. Can you briefly talk about your journey to crack the exam, like the amount of the your strategies to clear it, the amount of hours you used to put into study, and all the things which went into all the crisis which came along your way, and how you kind of overcame that and made your way into the All India rank 72.
Yeah, sure. So from a very young age, I wanted to become a scientist. Even though I didn't know what it was at that point, I really just wanted to become a scientist. And on Googling, I found out that the best place to be a scientist in India is the Indian Institute of Science. So I started checking the ways in which I can get into the Indian Institute of Science. So I found that through KVPY, if I get a rank above 250, I have the good chance of getting into IASC. And since undergrads there are only 120 seats, I was devastated when I got to know that I need to secure a rank 250 or higher. So when I looked into the KVPY question papers, I realized one thing. I was really weak in organic chemistry, and that was where most of the questions, at least at that point of time, came. So I had devised a strategy to strengthen my organic chemistry. And at the same time, my senior, Derek Joseph, had scored All India Rank 1 in KVPY. So I had asked him about what to do. So he suggested me a few books like Paula by Bruce, which actually held my interest in organic chemistry. So before getting into the KVPY preparation, my organic chemistry was really weak. I could not even do nomenclature properly. But then after going through the Paula by Bruce, I started developing interest for organic chemistry. Initially, I only spent 1 hour a day for organic chemistry, but then when I realized that I had developed the interest, I stopped studying all other subjects and I spent a lot of time on organic chemistry. Now, I had classes from morning 8 till evening 5, and I used to study after coming from those classes. So, pretty much the same schedule that most of the people who are getting the coaching as well as the classes are getting. So I used to study around 4 to 5 hours, and I used to dedicate at least 2 to 3 hours for organic chemistry itself. Now, biology was one of my strong suits, so I did. And going through the KVPY question papers, I had realized that they asked mostly rudimentary questions in biology. Like in section one itself, they asked mostly from the textbooks. So, and I was preparing for NEET, so it already covered most of the topics that were needed for KVPY. Even in physics, even though the questions were tough, they were manageable. And since the rule subjects that we only need to do section one, we only need to do 3 questions. In section two, only two. I chose chemistry and biology in section two, and physics, chemistry, and biology in section one. In doing so, it actually helped me because I had perfected organic chemistry in around 5 months. It took me, but no worries. It can't be done overnight though. But if we have a strong foundation, which I developed in 1 month or so, it can be even done in quicker because I had taken only 1 hour a day initially to build the foundation. And building on the foundation, I could study all the other subjects easily. So, for example, if you understood the reaction mechanisms for major reactions like SN1, SN2 reactions, you could actually speed up the learning process for the aldehyde, ketone, alcohol, all the other chapters because their fundamentals were based on this basic chemical reactions, and learning the reaction mechanism actually helped me a lot. Now, I know that from this year onwards, there are no interviews, but even in the interviews, they don't ask for great amount of detailed questions. They check for your basics. And that earlier preparation helped me a lot. Now for physics, I had just went through all the KVPY previous year questions as well as some additional questions from various question banks. For chemistry, I had seen that most of the questions which I came are from organic chemistry, so I dedicated the time. And the rest were from inorganic or simple calculations, which could be done by pretty much anyone because, inorganic work coming from directly from the textbook, and those which were tough, nobody could do it. So it doesn't matter anyways. The ranking won't be affected. Even the biology section, the first part was covered by because of my NEET practices. And second part will also be like you just have to think a bit to get the straight answers. So that helped me a lot.
That's really great to know, Nikhil. And of course, so coming to this inspiration behind joining IASC, you just give a
Yeah.
small glimpse that you liked being a scientist and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Is there anything more you want to add?
So, to be honest, none of my family members know what a scientist meant. They are either from engineering background or management background. So, like, the fact that I could be a scientist intrigued me a lot. And all the knowledge I had were from movies and from my childhood obsession of reading encyclopedias. So, for my birthday, my parents used to give me encyclopedias. I used to watch Nat Geo a lot, like those kind of things. So, it really intrigued me to become a scientist, to explore the world, to check, to find new things. And like, I don't know how to put it. It was an internal desire to be a scientist, and the best way I could be one in India was to join here. And luckily, I was able to do so.
That's the case with all of us when we are child, when we are
Yeah,
in a very young age, right? Whenever this term called scientist comes up, all like we just go crazy. We're like, oh my god, scientist
yeah.
with that
But
exclamation.
then people also tend to go towards engineering because it's easier. They think so, but it's not, to be honest. Or medical because fame of becoming a doctor. For me, even though I had the choice of becoming a doctor, for me the internal desire was to become a scientist, even though at that point I didn't know exactly what they did. In my mind it was just mixing chemicals and making new species from nowhere. But
Okay.
the thing is, reading those encyclopedias, like reading their work, like how they did certain experiments out of some simple ideas, like even Fleming, who discovered penicillin, the incident itself like reignited some spark. And the organic chemistry book, which inspired me, Paula Y. Bruce, she has given a lot of examples along with the text in which the scientist did something miraculous with something which was commonly seen. So, like, it gave me quite an intrigue of how simply a complex problem can be solved, which ignited a spark in me, and I wanted to do the same. to leave a mark by doing something simple to solve a complex problem.
That's really a great sentence, man. I, I'm just thinking of using one of your sentences on one of the story I'm scripting out.
Thank you.
That's a really good line.
Yeah,
But
thank you.
anyway, Nikhil, students are having the exam, and definitely now they know you, they want to hear some words from you. So a little dose of motivation for them, because right now, just imagine two of us how we were just 2 weeks behind the actual exam date, completely drenched, drowned, and completely filled with a line of thoughts. Are we gonna make it or are we not? So
Yeah,
today, viewers are in that line. So
I remember that day. Like not even 2 weeks, 1 month back, I was completely drained. I was spending a lot of time on just KVPY preparation itself. And to be honest, looking far back now, I didn't have to worry that much because my preparation so far was, even though not solid, it was enough to get me to somewhere. If not IAC, to ICER itself. Now, the key point is to remember to revise properly because in if you are doing biology like I did, the thing is some of the questions are based on facts. Now, even though you may remember the chapter as whole, if you don't revise it properly, the entire thing is gone. Now, in that 1 month of time, I did not go for preparing new subjects because then you are over cramming what you have already studied. You're clouding your brain with new information, which you are most likely to forget the next day. Instead, you should focus on revising the topics in the next coming weeks. By doing so, you're not only remembering what you have like memorized or studied, you're making the concept stronger. You could also teach each other, which would actually increase your concept of that subject. Because in KVPI, most of the questions, especially in section 2, are concept based rather than memory based. So by teaching each other, you can actually improve your concept strength because the other person is most likely to question you why so and so happened. Now, a cheat trick which I found was to read the question paper very carefully. Because, at least in my time, it was written that you could attempt all the questions in the SX stream and the best three will be taken. So if you're confident enough after doing all the questions, read the question properly. Okay, it might change during this time. But when I wrote, it was you can attempt all the questions in section 1 and section 2. In section 1, the best three will be taken. And in section 2, the best two will be taken. So even though if you scored terrible in biology, let's say, but you had circled like maybe two or three correct answers in section 1, that would give you some positive answer. And if you had scored negative in biology, let's say, you could still score better than what you have scored if you had not attempted that. And generally what examiners do is they tend to put equal number of A, B, C, and D. So if you're confident enough that you have written all the answers correctly without guessing, you can count the number of A, B, and C, A, B, C, and D, and you can come up with the letter which is most less circled or selected, which will help you identify which might give you more advantage. Now it's just a cheat sheet I'm giving you. And even in organic chemistry, if you see a very complex molecule, trust me, most likely that's the answer because it takes a really hard time to draw those complex molecules. And if they wanted to get you an answer which can be done simply, they would most likely do so. And also look for carbon numbers in a reaction. If the carbon number increase or decrease, that means that's most likely not the correct answer. Most likely, I'm saying, if these are the worst case scenario when you're running out of ideas and you want to get an answer. Like if you know the answer, if you're prepared for it, don't go for the shortcuts. But you're stuck somewhere and you want to get to a correct answer, the most likely the number of carbon either increase or decrease in the option, which will help you eliminate the options. Like if the question started with 9 carbons and the option is 8, 7, and 9, most likely the answer would be 9, unless it's some decomposition reaction or some addition reaction. So these are some cheat codes which you could apply in your exam. But as far as motivation goes, again, revision is the most important because you don't want to forget the facts, especially in organic chemistry, theoretical physics, and biology. like biology on, like I can't emphasize how much. So you should revise, you should like you should have a strong concept for the section 2, and you should revise properly for the section 1 and section 2. Second, don't get demotivated by others preparation. Trust me, I did the same. I felt really bad, but if you did the preparation, you will score it. Doesn't matter how well they prepared, because sometimes when you prepare too much, it can also lead to problems. You second guess every answer you make. So better be less prepared than overly prepared and confused. And third, relax. Have a good night's sleep before the exam. I know you have heard it a long lot of time, but without sleep, without having that little dose of relaxation, you will be really stressed during the exam itself. I take a lot of stress during the exam, but before that, I had given myself 7 hours of sleep, which really helped me focus during that 3 hours of intense session. And have fun. Like, it's not the end of the world. You can even get into IAC through different ways, and you still have the chance of giving like KVPY in the SB stream if you're really interested in coming here. But these are the top guidelines which I can give you. Like, thank you.
That's great, Nikhil. That's great.
Yeah.
And most importantly, guys, one of the thing which Nikhil highlighted, the importance of inorganic chemistry. This is something which even I wanted to emphasize on, because Nikhil, I still remember one of our senior. He joined here for undergrad, and then he went into Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He had an IIT All India rank of 52,
Okay.
and he was a silver. He had a medal in International Physics Olympiad. So
Hmm.
I was quite curious. I was like, okay, this guy bagged a medal bagged a medal for the country,
Hmm.
and now he's saying, of course, IIT All India rank 52 is itself is
Yeah,
amazing.
it's a big deal.
I mean, maybe 52 or maybe in the 50s. Maybe I'm telling the number wrong, but it was in that
Yeah.
range. But I was very curious, like if we can get that, is it like the All India rank one is Mars? That's the kind of doubts we get at the age of 18, right? When we are
Yeah.
just inside. So I just went to him and asked, like, dude, since you are like so smart, what actually prevented you from getting All India rank one in JE Advanced?
Hmm.
And he told me that, Sudeep, I messed up because I did not, I I just did not prepare for certain segments in inorganic chemistry.
Yeah.
In
Because
other words,
inorganic
what we want
chemistry
to
is,
say is, most of the people who are addicted to physics, who are like, get the kick out of solving physics problems and math problems, those guys tend to, like naturally ignore inorganic chemistry. In other words,
yeah,
that's a
true.
point where you guys can actually encash, because you're in physics and maths, you're very likely to make mistakes, but in inorganic, if you know, you already know. So make the
Yeah,
best use
true.
of it, even if it's like for no reason or for any reason. Please don't ignore inorganic chemistry. That is something which I've been telling to people, because that's where you can like just score, and even if whatever mistakes you make in physics or math, somehow inorganic might compensate and keep
Yeah,
you
true.
stable.
But the thing, Harsh, is that once the inorganic chemistry gets into the complexities, people tend
Ah,
to stray away. Yeah. Yeah. We will study
that
a trend, and then
uh,
we will study some exception. Then we will study exceptions of that exceptions. So this list goes on. This becomes overwhelming for the students. And the
yeah.
compound reaction. Yeah. But yeah, if you have time, go through those reactions quickly. Those come in handy a lot. So what I did was I created a cheat book in which I wrote all the reactions that's occurring in the inorganic organic chemistry, and before the exam I just used to go through those reactions. So like every day if you saw those reaction, it tend to stay in your mind, even though you may not remember to verbally speak it out. When you see the question and you see the options, you know how to at least eliminate the wrong answers, which will help
Exactly.
you a lot. So instead of choosing from 4 options, maybe you have to choose from 2 options, which gives you a 50-50 chance from 25 percentage. Like, that gives you an advantage over the people who did not study inorganic at all.
So yeah, indirectly we both are trying to convey that, even I mean not me, you you are trying to convey that even the top rankers of this country also find shortcuts, which
Yeah.
most of them don't believe. Actually, when I was in 11th and 12th, I never believed that. I was like, if a person is getting a good rank, he knows head to tail of everything. So I should
No, no, no.
always.
That's not true at all. Like, or everybody applies shortcut because we don't want to stress ourselves. So
Exactly.
the key goal is to study smart and not very hard. You have to study hard, but studying smart takes you places with little ease. And you also get
Exactly.
time for relaxation, which is really important. If it wasn't for
And
my sketching and all, I would have probably lost my mind. It really, like, I dedicate a time in a day to, have a chill session, which really helps.
that's
And
really,
trust me, guys, it really helps.
that's great, man. Even, like you were talking about this particular break taking and studying smart. So one of the thing which most of the students at your 11th and 12th we do, even we did that, we are openly accepting it, is that just to accelerate the process, we try to rote learn, or you, in simple words, we mug up stuff. Okay, that is something, which we also want to address. Put your efforts in understanding the subject. Ask questions which are not answered. And by that way, you're dwelling into the depth of the concept. And the KVPY, you take any of these examinations, you take KVPY, JEE Mains, JEE Advanced. It's like a mixture where they check how well you have understood the subject with a little bit of mathematical inculcation, how well you can do the math. And each
Hmm.
of this exam and each of these questions have their own proportionality in these two areas, but at the end of the day it falls into this category. So please put your focus on understanding the concepts. Understand, and I want to quote again, understand them and knowing them are two different things. And
Yeah,
if you
true.
understand them, and if you just have that hang of mathematics, trust me, clearing any of these exams, it is doable, and you can make your way into these institutions, which is actually your dream and which you are pursuing. So, anyways, Nikhil, it was a fantastic session, and
Yeah.
I'm really, I can really watch that our viewers would have enjoyed it to the best. More than that, they would have felt very comfortable for the upcoming KVPY. I
Yeah,
can say,
just don't stress out. Have fun with the exam. It's really not that big of a danger. And trust me, if you have revised well, if you have prepared even a bit and revised well, you will get here. It's there.
there's always another chance. There's always
Yeah,
another
true.
strike. So,
Yeah. Even if you don't get an essay is particularly difficult for the bio people who are going for the KVPO exam. There is SX, and trust me, for bio people, SX is like the boon. It's like get
exactly,
into the
man.
KVPI free scheme.
Exactly. I mean, at least in my case, when I joined my 11th, I wanted to take computer science. It was my father who
Hmm.
insisted me to take biology, and I just took it for the sake
Okay.
of him. Because actually, even in
Yeah.
my case, my family was thinking, can we just make one? Because my family doesn't have any doctors.
Okay.
So, but once I hit KVPY SX, I knew taking biology was a jackpot.
Yeah.
So, bio guys, you have an edge, make the best use of it.
Yeah.
Of
And
course, you
again,
will
read the
lose it
question
if
paper.
you, yeah, of course, you will definitely lose that edge. This boon will become a bane if you join IASC. I can say,
Yeah.
because once you start, the mathematics is going to literally,
It's going to be abstract a
we
lot.
can't explain it. It can't be explained in words. That's how it's gonna get. But it's nothing to be, like worried about.
Yeah.
Somehow, this too shall pass. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Anyways, viewers, it was a fantastic session. I really enjoyed it, and so does Nikhil. And Nikhil, I'm looking forward for further engagements in these
Yeah,
areas,
sure.
and
Yeah, sure.
we both will come again. So stay tuned. Please subscribe, share, and like our channel, so that like we can communicate all our own experience and whatever we have figured out on our own. and whatever we want to communicate with students, which is important for the student community. So please subscribe, share, and spread so that we can communicate with a huge bunch of them. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, Nikhil.
Bye.